Good morning and happy Tuesday. Greg here with 50 Days to Freedom. With only 35 days remaining in my challenge, I want to give you guys a quick update. We've got 2 houses under contract. One is cruising towards closing. One is in the option period, which means we had the inspection yesterday. And I just got a verbal confirmation on $1 million purchase price for my buyer. That buyer I found through my network. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about networking and why it's so important. Hey everybody, let's jump into today's episode, number 4, building your real estate network. And we're gonna start off with a quote. In the world of real estate, your network is your net worth. So that's an overused phrase if you've been following a lot of channels or listening to a lot of podcasts, but it does hold true. It's a very, very important part of real estate, kind of like location, network. So we're gonna jump in, we're gonna talk about some of the importances of network, how we build a network, who we want in our network, who's important, who's not, and then really what that's been able to do for me in terms of my networking so far. All right, so why is having a strong network so important? We'll jump to the first and most glaringly obvious importance of the network, and that's going to be that a lot of your deal flow is going to come through your network. When you put it out there that you are buying houses, people who have houses to sell will bring them to you. Whether it's friends and family who are now your ears and your eyes out there, wholesalers who you meet at networks, agents, just all kinds of agents everywhere, or just fellow investors who now are tired. They see that you're a new or eager or growing investor. And then when they're looking to offload something, they'd like to offload to someone who they already have some sort of relationship with. So that's super important. And then there's the not so obvious pieces of networking that I think are super important. And that's just going to be contractors. That's a big one. Real estate professionals, when you have to reach out when you've got a problem, who are you going to reach out to when you've got your first eviction, or when that tenant's not paying on time, or when the tenant leaves the unit damaged? So it's good to have plumbers and electricians and real estate lawyers. It's important to have a CPA that you can trust. So yeah, it's super important to have that network. Most obvious to grow your portfolio, but then also just to keep it alive and keep it strong. It's having reliable people in your corner to be able to help you out. And then similarly, you should be that to someone else. So if you're not bringing value to your network, then you're just not going to be in that network very long, or just you'll be on the fringes of that network. You won't be in the solid core of it. So think about that too. Not just what your network what value it can bring to you, but what value are you adding to your network? All right, so we talked about a few of the people within the network that are important. I'm going to break it down for you real quick. So the first and foremost in a network is the investor. Now I'm going to assume that that's you or me, or if you're an agent, these are going to be your clients. So the investor, I think, is the core of the quote-unquote real estate investor network, of course. Then you have your core 4. This is made famous by David Green in Bigger Pockets. So that investor is going to find his 4 core people to help him out. That's going to be the lender. Lenders come in a lot of shapes and sizes, from banks, commercial or residential. It can be in the terms of private money. It can be in the terms of partnerships. But who's bringing the money to the deal? Where's that coming from? Then you have your agent/deal finder. As I mentioned before, this could be something like myself as a Keller Williams agent, or it could be a wholesaler, or it could just be direct to seller. But who is finding and who's supplying those deals? Next, you've got your property manager. Now I do self-manage, so I kind of play those roles for myself. But for a lot of people out there, you're gonna have to hire somebody to be that property manager, particularly if you're doing this from a distance, or if you plan on doing it for any length of time. And then the last one on here is your contractor. In most cases, if you're an investor, you'll be looking for some value add. Sometimes we can buy value add, which means we buy it below market value. But a lot of times we're gonna force that value through repairs, and having a reliable contractor is important to the core 4. And those core 4 will all lean on each other to help you grow and in the acquisition process of your portfolio building. And then you have a few other important people you want in your network, or at least you want your network, your lender, your agent, your property manager to be able to supply to you. I think that that's going to be like a handyman, different than a contractor. A handyman's going to be the guy who goes when your tenant has a front door that doesn't latch quite properly, or a drip in his sink, or the stove doesn't light when he turns on the gas stove. On top of that, you're going to have like a CPA or bookkeeper. This might be for people who are a little bit further along, but it's a super important aspect to your network. Having a lawyer, at least someone that you know who you will call. So maybe you don't have one on a regular basis that you discuss things with or whatever, but if things get sticky, if something happens, if you've got to do an eviction, if there's things turn for the worse, you want to already know who you're going to call, vice waiting to the last second. So starting to work that into your network. And then all the trades companies. So again, a little bit different than a handyman, a little bit different than your contractor. In this case, your plumber, your electrician, your HVAC company, you want to build good relationships with these people early on. Down here in Texas, we just crested 100 degrees for the, 20th time already this year, and we're losing ACs left and right. So our AC company is vital to the safety and comfortable living of all of our tenants. So we've got a great relationship with them. We love our HVAC company, and anyone in Bryan College Station, I'll share with you who those folks are. Bonus tip: take a job in the real estate industry, a W-2 job, and use your employer's network as your network. It'll blow up your network faster than anything else. Take it, leave it, worked for me. Good luck. All right, we know who we need. How do we find them? So there's like a dirty word, right? The dirty little word out there is like networking. I don't like the word networking. More so socializing, just getting out to knowing people, working with people. But how does that process work? So some of the best things you can do to network is get out and go to real estate meetups, events, go to where real estate people are getting together. A lot of events are hosted via Bigger Pockets. There's also local meetups. We have one here in town called Brick. Brazos Real Estate Investors Club is a really good one. But when you go there, you've got to be able to introduce yourself and get to know people, not just be a fly on the wall. You can also join professional associations. There's like landlord, not clubs, landlord groups, I guess. There are, as a realtor, you're part of a professional organization, so that's a big part of it. And then utilizing online platforms. So we're gonna jump into this a little bit more here in a second, but for me, the most important platform has been Bigger Pockets. I learned most of what I know on Bigger Pockets over the last 5 or 6 years. So they've got forums, they've got podcasts, they've got books, they've got webinars, they've got conferences. And in all of those things are other people like you, either where you're at, where you're coming from, or where you're going. So plenty of people for you to meet on there. And then, of course, when you do meet someone, this is another, I think David Greenism I'm stealing here, but rock stars know rock stars. So people who play professional sports know more professional athletes than I do. People who are really good at real estate know other people who are really good at real estate, more so than the average person. So when you do meet someone who shows themselves as, the best lender for investors in Bryan College Station, ask that person, hey, what agent do you work with the most? What contractor have you seen most of your investors are working with? Do you have any recommendations on a good lawyer or a good CPA? And usually those rock stars will have those folks who they can recommend. And because it's a referral from someone who you've already vetted, it means that you're going to have a better chance of having a good interaction with them and a good relationship. So I already talked about Bigger Pockets. I consider Bigger Pockets to be social media, but let's talk about the more stereotypical, the more accepted social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Those are great options for meeting folks. I think initially as a fly on the wall, just watch YouTube videos and get to know those people who are putting content out there, and then reach out, hit them up, and just, hey, I saw this video where you did this. I had a question about that, or you talked about this thing. That's exactly what I want to do. Mind if I, reach out to you? And I've had success reaching out to these folks and just, grabbing an hour long, half an hour long chat on the phone. Make sure that when you do, you've got specific questions for them, so that you're not just wasting people's time. I think that's important in any part of networking. Don't just pick someone's brain. Don't just sit down for coffee to chat. Come with specific questions in mind. Otherwise, both you and the person you're asking to hang out, to meet, will walk away feeling like it was a waste of time. But if you come out with specific questions, you'll get a lot more out of it, and so will they. And then, of course, start putting yourself out there is a big one. It's a huge step. It's honestly a complete pain in the ass, but a necessary evil. So that's what I'm doing here. And so just putting it out there more and more that, hey, you're an agent, you're an investor, you are trying to buy more real estate, and put the vibes out there. So this way, do's and don'ts of networking. I think I've already thrown these in, mixed throughout the last 10 minutes of me rambling, but I would say do bring value. Don't just show up. Do come with specific questions, specific goals, some level of pre-education, of preparedness. Don't just show up. Do just show up, as in don't look at the Bigger Pockets meetup that's happening and then ignore it. Do actually go out and attend. So good luck to everybody. Stay tuned for episode 5. That'll be the 30-day mark. So we're coming up on 1 month till I quit my job. I'm scared shitless, but I'm excited at the same time. So let's go out there and make it happen. Oh yeah, don't forget, like and subscribe.